on the Batin Hardin Highway. Omar Tungara is there. Very soon we'll be linking up with him to give us an update what happened during Papa Falls nomination time, and what also is coming to happen for NUP. As you are rightly seen on the screen, it seems NUP coming to accompany their presidential candidate. We will later know who is this presidential candidate as far as NUP is concerned. Baden jiber lalu nyintemen Albesta TV le jibe kan comme nga fala nyame bi abalarin tentine Papa Fall independent woyala kaitol sambale fa pareta sandung min kananang wole mu NUPT NUP fanang coming right now albaskrino jibe kan nyintemena nga paral jele min ko dana security ti ibijele coming alialo nyamin dorong ikele dokol ka nyamin an njikita ko NUP fanan be pare kan fanan kela presidential candidate nyin dandang atenyin IEC janin Omar Tunkara ba nyomoy la nsana mol bulandi nsana mol bula ko denke welcome back gentlemen after that short break. Dipsy.
Thank you very much. We're glad to be back, and it's unfortunate that we do not have the images from IEC while Papa Fall was submitting his nomination papers.
So
that's very unfortunate, but I'm sure Omar would give us an update as to how it all happens. We're yet to see NUP to arrive at the venue. We are hoping to see, maybe he will come with a crowd as expected. Let's see what's the outcome is going to be. Mbokk yi su ko defee ñu dellusiwaat ak yéen di leen jaajëfal bu baax a baax am mbégte loolu dellusiwaat gannaaw bi bàyyi ko ci break bi le waaye rek di wax ne bi Papa Fall di joxe ay kayitam pour wane ne moom fas na yéene pour bokk ci jongante bi le amuñu woon images maanaam netaal yi nga xam ne moom lañ bëggoon a jotee foofule ci Independent Electoral Commission ci kër gu mag gi nga xam ne fa la Alhaji Momar Ndiaye nekkam ñi ko jiite pour joxe ay kayitam wane ne jongante bii dee bi nga xam ne moom la ñu digmal ci décembre fas nañ ne bokk ci incha allahu rabbi waaye nag Omar mi nga xam ne moo ne ci ground bi buñ ko amee moom dinañu ci indi ay leeral su ko defee mu wax ñu lépp lu ci ne nan la jaaree ak nan lañ ko jaaralee incha allahu rabbi ñu xartane ko tuuti xam naa dinañ jokkoo ak Omar
Alaji kabirin kankularo boraje saying NUP le nyantanala andong ning Omar Tunkara fanam bina nyomela akeda nung ello doti Papa Fall waramina bina kang mang atenying akalamuta fu Papa Fall tata anu say mbayila kanko NUP wayre nyin temena ngalone anala mol fanam basilo ko nak pare kana kala nyin kaytol sambaje
wala mu to nyaati baylo comme ya fo nyamen ron la balari wala fana nyamar han kabi ron biyanne kan na badilon kalamutandi abalari nyamen fofe ndi mbedinding atano ministre la fana la kawona IEC la bunda banyi afnanto amuta sayin NUP la nyaton ko wala basilo nyin afanankan andum be jigirin ko fanan afanan aminale ayala kaytol jende bawo nga fona mo la nyamen nyimu sartol ti melialan ko ni la fa banko ya nyinina kaddantam biye melian ko IEC fanan ko nyinige fanan bul ke marita ke kesun kalo eto mo sifa nyaadi leti gambela al halola fanato mune be fanam bulo kono anding e ka findi fanki wata fanan kay ka foy ni banko litele bata man la nyama budu ngalo nyaato bi mino moy la le ate patiola mi anko wala be layno nyinga fananga munda folo men tamita bala ya fanya ndrom alata wala fananya bari be sawonna wala le nakki batala me je Umar Tunkara nanata rong abe dumandim fola mole wala al halawto anding ay mune fo ki batala nyile fanay.
All right, Abarkapake Alaji, as we've seen right now, I think NUP is coming with their crowd. We will try to call Omar Tunkara now and see whether we will be having Omar Tunkara on the line to update us and give us first-hand information regarding about NUP, not NPP, but NUP's nomination. I think we have Omar Tunkara on the line. Hello, Omar. Hello, Omar.
Yes,
Omar. Yes. Today is day 7 of the nomination, and we are now seeing NUP coming up with their presidential candidate. Tell us, how is the atmosphere at the IEC right now?
Thank you very much, Bailo. Good morning once again from Star TV viewers. We are welcoming you to another live coverage of this 2021 presidential nominations. live at the IEC headquarters. And I'm Omar Tunkara, just as you mentioned. Today is the final day for nominations, and we are expecting 3 candidates to come on. The first candidate has already arrived and is gone. That is Mr. Papafal. He's an independent candidate. But now we are awaiting the arrival of the NUP candidate, that is Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh. Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh is the NUP candidate, and he's also the former director of the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh is just arriving with his people, his militants, his party supporters. They are just there at the first checkpoint that the police mounted just around the Gamworks building. As usual, that happens. At the moment, he's just going to walk straight towards the IEC building, and then he will also have a session with the IEC officials. That is the IEC chairman, Ali Momanjai, and his commission officials. Then when he's seated, he will present or he will tender his certificates or his papers, and it will be considered for a nomination. Then by tomorrow, the IEC will determine who and who is qualified to run for these elections. Bailo, as you can see, he is just arriving. The police are guiding him on some of the security protocols on the ground, and then from there on he will go in there to meet up with the IEC officials.
Omar, who is the presidential candidate for NUP? Could you help us with that name?
It is just unfortunate that most of the Gambians don't know, in fact, the presidential candidate for the NUP. He is Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh, just as I was saying before. Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh is the presidential candidate for NUP. This party was formed not long ago, but he said the plans that they have is to overhaul the key areas of the government. And just as I have said before, he is the former director of the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. As you can see over there, already you can see the number of media personnel on the ground, but you can also see the number of security personnel on the ground. But you can also see his party symbol and party color, and also some of the party militants he has arrived with.
Omar, briefly, tell us that in the local languages, please.
Thank you very much, Bailo. mbokk yi ñuy seetaan tey moo nekk bés bu mujj ci wàllu nomination process boo xam ne ñu ngi koy def fii ci IEC. Candidate bu mujj bu war a ñëw tey jii nag moom moo war a nekk DP seen candidate waaye kooku ñëwagul ñi fi jot a jaaragum moom mooy independent candidate bi di ki nga xam ne moom mooy moom kii di Papa Fall ñëw na ba dem léegi nag ki ñu nekk di dalasi nii moom moo nekk NUP seen candidate bi moom moo nekk ki nga xam ne nag moom mooy Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh. Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh nag moom moo jiite parti bi National Unity Party. National Unity Party nag seen na ba pare ndax léegi dafay dem foofu bala ca di IEC su ko defee ñu tàmbali process bi comme ni ñeneen ñu fi ñëwoon rek lu fi gars yi defoon andi nañ seen i kayit léegi dañ koy xoolaat ko waaye ëllëg moo nekk dogal bés boo xam ne si la gars yi di def dogal pour xool seen ndax moom qualifié na pour jàll wala mu ñàkk qualifié loolu nag si IEC la mooy des waaye loolu ëllëg la mooy doon waaye tey jii moom itamit dafay dem mu jàkkaarloo Aliou Momane Ndiaye ak commissionnaire si fa nekk su ko defee mu joxee ay kayitam ñu seet li mu andi ak ndax am na li nga xam ne daf ko dese wala dese wut ko waaye fu mu toll nii li ñu mën a jàpp moom li mu àndal ñëw nañ gis ngeen li nga xam ne nag moom moo di kola bi nga xam ne moom la daal di moom moo nekk kola parti bi gis ngeen tamit soppata si nga xam ne ñoom la daal di àndal ndax AIC maye nañ ay nit ñi nga xam ne mën nañ koy gunge pour gars yi dem toog fële mu am ñoo xam ne tamit dañuy toog si biti fii kon si gàttal tey loolu moo nekk li nga xam ne moom moo xew fii si kaalama ma ni nga rek pour ma gaaw ci rek mooy ne NUP la candidat futata ne already baylo ila candidate mu Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh lati Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh atala mu Gambia former director mu mbedo ko la no Gambia Civil Aviation Authority futata nan already ala party so paras yaajele fana be dun kan nanne ya rafa ata fana mol siatale because party lo me yalan ko mol ma lo wonyano bake bar say mol ba lon kanne party lo me yalan ko ata fon candidate ni fongo mol ma lo ñu wonya bake but it seems as of today mo jama gamen jamal balon nale bar say ande adun tele konoto ando akatale pour ani Aliou Momane Ndiaye sesono soto ala kaytoli tandi Gambia dingol ma ani Aliou Momane Ndiaye
abaraka bake ngal ñaata do man fanang ni go ñomoy lal especially ñi ateñing Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh fongo sita min keta aya ñaati ling ateñing Momar Ndiaye la ñaata do man mina ñomoy la je fanang abaraka bake
abaraka bay
baɗigol wala kata Omar tunkarati ñin temmena tele bañe IEC la korra bundado la korra bado min kata teñing independent electoral commission ti Mimbale Battle Harden Highway. Gentlemen, we've heard what Omar just highlighted in English, Mandinka and Wolof respectively. The independent candidate for NUP is no other person than Alaji Ibrahima Jammeh, and right now, very soon he will be seated to face eye to eye, tete-a-tete with the independent electoral chairman Aliou Momar Ndiaye. Lipsi and Alaji.
Yeah, it's good to see him with at least that crowd. Before they came in, there was no one. People were wondering whether, in fact, this man was going to pull at least a crowd. But it's good to see, the crowd that he came along with. It's somehow promising because at least it's good that you're submitting your papers and then your families, your friends, or whosoever come along with you makes you definitely comfortable and be happy. Even though by looking at some candidates, you could clearly tell that they cannot be part of the race, and that's the truth. They cannot be part of the race, but at least it tells it's good to have some people behind you while you submit your papers, even if not a bigger crowd, but at least your family, your friends, your loved ones, to accompany you to the IEC so that you can submit. Even though people will look at those images, people will rate certain candidates and say, these people are just there to fill the gap, but definitely they cannot be part of the race, and that is quite obvious. Whether they are going to form an alliance
Yes,
with the
but can we go to the IEC now?
Yeah.
Can we go to the IEC and hear what the presidential candidate of NUP and Aliou Momar Njie will be saying as far as he is submitting his papers. Right now they are all seated at the moment at the IEC. They are all seated right now. Let's just go there and hear something that we can pick something from there.
For improvement project ɗum noon ko abiti e kulle e ɓeydugol airport o pour golle airport en jaaha yeeso ko project muɗum waɗatno toon ko makko jamme ardino on project Banjul International
Signals from there. We've seen just at the back of the T-side of NUP, unity is strength. Alaji, akamunda nyentemena, NUP mol fana fele frada, ame anyadon kaya wala mu Alhaji Ibrahima Jammeh nyentemena fele siring aning Momar Njie nyati li nyola nyata do nyinga signal so do mbitala jel bari. Akamunda fana modol so do.
Baylo wala mu kuti meyana nga kumata bake bawo niaji be karje mala fana keta pare o keta bake le biriye pati o nyum fana lo ye patio lo yela ka patio la kuliol beke yela ka fo mol be tombong o borum je san sa nomination o si ite han mo kilim fay masoro be mimini danda naji o mo kulati me ya lonko am mayna xia nga jela ke mbara mayna xe bawo ay si fon la loi même je ne patio lo banko la tundu lo ka mbara waro lo nyim be kan yenda kala kundal soto je saniti ko na to nyata ite kundal soto banko la tundu la waro lo nyim be kan ne ite han sa mo mo so be sama na IC o te la patio lo nyinga nin ko mo sa rol ni mama fondi de amaro kumata bakel fana
Alright, abaraka bake Alhaji Fati badingol nyintemena NUP la presidential candidate Alhaji Ibrahima Jammeh wale na la molu futa data ni IEC nyintemena comme albe screen o jibe kan nyami nyata demanding bina ko kumo dol fanan ataje mi yala ngol bakela anno nyapare de jefana njigata ko wanin kibatal fanan ba interview sodolale mimba dending ala nomination la fanala alkana nyina ko han kabi biro mu lum wara wala jangoti ata nyen nomination la fanala papa fall wala falota da bi somana talankononto anu saintenting NUP la Alhaji Ibrahima Jammeh bi je nyobore je den DP fana bina DP o bebe kala fendem yalan ko dal mbo fana lonnale nyaato a demanding saintending felenting ening Momar Njie nala balamol sita ye nyaatili nyola andong kaitol fele siata budong malong Momar Njie bina mena folata nying presidential candidate menketa tenyeng NUPT Alhaji Ibrahima Jammeh comme Omar Tunkara fon nyami ako en anene do ko Gambia Civil Authority memo GC80 amu bundalde mi yalon ko dal mol ya asute jam bakala tenyeng Gambia banko kan jang felenting ye nyati li nyola ngamira say ngataje can you please help us with what is happening I think with their crowd. The crowd is turning out to come and cheer up their presidential candidate. Let's go to IEC now. Once again, This is Star TV. It's day 7 of the nominations. If we can have Omar Tunkara down there to be giving us some analysis before we will hear something from Aliou Momar Njai, which he will disseminate the info to NUP's presidential candidate. We've seen crowd, Lipsy, NUP did not just come, like that, but of course we are seeing crowd following their presidential candidate.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier on. I said it's encouraging and it makes you happy, when you come to the IEC to submit your nomination papers and you realize, you have that crowd, at least with friends and families, with loved ones or whatsoever. That's what I was saying. With that crowd, one would say, this candidate is definitely not going to be part of the race, but at least it is good to see candidates to come with crowd, with such a crowd, with whatever crowd it is okay. Like Alaji said, a party was formed a while ago. You put your structures in place. You launch the party. You have the chance to go, tour the country or do meetings with various communities or whatsoever. So it is quite obvious you must have to have, even if it's going to be a handful of people to accompany you to the IEC, but it would not be normal to see, candidates like we've been seeing, to come to the IEC just like that to, submit their nomination papers or whatsoever. So this is encouraging. We are beginning to see more people coming in to the IEC ground to cheer up Alhaji Ibrahim Jammeh, which is definitely a good thing as well. What
quickly?
Yeah, su ko defee rek ñu wax nit ñi ne tey mooy juróom-ñaareeli fan bi nga xam ne ci lay IEC di nominate presidential candidates yi war a jongante décembre incha allah bi nga xam ne ci la réew mi di tànn ki nga xam ne moo ñoo jiite pour beneen juróomi at tey jii nag ki njëkk a gis si suba si mooy Papa Fall. donte sax ñun bi ñoo waxtaan ak yéen amuñu woon image si doon jógee ci Independent Electoral Commission bi pour wan leen Papa Fall nii nga xam ne noonu la doon joxe ay kayitam jox ko ki nga xam ne moo jiite IEC bi muy Alhaji Momar Njie waaye kiñ gis léegi mooy Alhaji Ibrahima Jammeh mi nga xam ne moo jiite parti NUP ñëw na léegi ànd ak ay kàngam ngay dar ko ñëw fa liñ doon wax rek mooy mbooloo ak ni mu munti mel dafa baax pour ñu gis ñu topp ci gannaaw presidential candidate pour ñu ñëw ci fi nga xam ne mooy IEC pour submit seen papers parce que dafa rafetul sax wala dafa warut ñu gis presidential candidate boo xam ne dafa ñëw IEC ñëw pour joxe ay kayitam te kenn topp ko même bu dee sax dañ jàpp ne candidate si dee mënuñ ta bokk si jongante bi parce que mbooloo léegi-léegi mooy tax nga gëm ne nit ki mun naa bokk si jongante waaye ñoom ñii ak ñeneen amuñ mbooloo bi takku bi tax ñuy foog ne war nañoo mën a bokk si jongante bi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy win election si whatever nekkuñ di ko gisee neneen bot ci ni jàngat bi ñu ci def mooy mbooloo mi parce que ci mbooloo la ñoo mën a seetee kan mooy war a topp ci bokk si jongante bi pour dem ak kan moo ci dut war a bokk maanaam ñi nga xam ne ñoom lañ am yaakaar ne dinañ ko war a win waaye même bu loolu amul it dafa rafet ci xol te dafa neex ci ki nga xam ne moom mooy ñëw pour submit paper sam mu gis ne ak nu munti mel de man am naa gannaaw ndax bu dee ñaar wala ñetti nit sax ñoo ma toppa suma xel dal na wan na ma ne am naa am mbooloo loolu dafa important trop mooy liñ doon wax léegi te biñ ko wax it bi ñoo daaneel suñ kàddu gis nañ beneen mbooloo di jógee ci gannaaw di ñëw kon suñu yeboo ne am na gannaaw te gaa yi ko taxaw.
Let's go to the IEC. It seems we're getting signals. It seems we're getting now signals from the IEC, which, of course.
ok mbokk yi li ngeen di seetaan nii rek mooy process bi start na diggante IEC ak ki nga xam ne moom mooy NUP seen candidate bi di Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh di jégalu ci bu njëkk bi dañ ne woon Alaaji waaye du Alaaji Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh la candidate bi tudda Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh nag moom moo jiite National Unity Party ñoom ñoo nekk ñaareel ñi ñëw fii tey ci IEC pour ñëw andi seen i kayit fu mu nekk nii nag ñu ngi ko laajte kayit yi nga xam ne moom la war a joxe pour ñu mun koy consider ndax dina jàll doon presidential candidate wala déet waaye nag dogal boobu ëllëg incha allah la ko IEC di def ndax tey jii moo nekk bés bu mujj boo xam ne candidate si war nañoo mën a ñëw andi seen kayit ndax fu mu toll nii ginnaaw Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh kenn rek moo des ginnaaw mooy DP mooy Democratic Party seen candidate bi mu mel ni tey fukki waxtu yi ak ñaar bu tegee fanweeri simili dafay mel ni nomination si dafay jeex ci réew Gambia su ko defee IEC def seen dogal bés ni ki ëllëg ki nga di seetaan naka di Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh moom Gambia Civil Aviation Authority la doon liggéey mu fa tàmbali liggéeyam nag ci atum 1997 nekk fa nag di fa liggéey ba mu mujjee jàlla nekk ci position directeur général bu place boobu nag ci weeru juin atum 2012 balaa gars yi di ko def nag directeur général bu Gambia Civil Aviation Authority nekkoon nag deputy director diggante 2004 ba jàpp ko 2012 Mr Jammeh nag Banjul International Airport bi soo gisee tey mu am ab yokkute bu mag jàpp nañ ne moom am na si loxo parce que moom moo jiite liggéey bi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko fa doon def ndax dugaloon lañ fa koppar yi mat $40 million te moom bokkoon na si ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo si jàppoon nag ba projet boobu nag mun a sotti ci airport bi kon mu mel nii moom liggéey yooyu mu ngi ko doon defal nag réew Gambia moom nag am na ay kàddu yi nga xam ne waxoon na ko gannaaw si li jëm ci wàllu coppite nga xam ne daf ko fas yéenee def bu nekkee li nga xam ne moom mooy li di président laal na nag fànn yu bëri parce que moom Jammeh nag mu ne nguuram bi dinañ fexe ba am quality education ñu koy defal Gambian si nguuram bi dinañ fexe ba gis ne teachers yi jàngalekat yi dinañ leen fay xaalis bi nga xam ne moom lañ war a fay gars yi waaye tamit nag condition si nga xam ne moom la gars yi nekkat di liggéeyee dinañ fexe ba gis ne daal loolu dina am ab yokkute benn tey ci wàllu wér-gu-yaram bi wane na ne tamit dinañ am ay pexe yi nga xam ne dinañ ko laal ba nga xam ne fépp fu waaye mun ti dox ci réew Gambie rek di nga fekk foofu ay lopitaan yi nga xam ne nit mun na fay fajoo kon nag wax na si jafe-jafe yi nga xam ne tamit moom moo nekk ci réew Gambie yu mel ni économie bi small internal market bi ne suñ marché bi dafa ndaw boo xoolee nag li nga xam nag moom mooy marché Gambie te war koo tollale ak yeneen marché yi nag ci àdduna si kon nag moom gëm na ne lii yëpp nag dañ ko war a daal di génnee ndax moom mu ne gëm na ne daal great minds leading NUP maanaam daal ñi nga xam ne tey ji ñu ngi jiite NUP boo ko xoolee ak revolutionary policies maanaam sarta yi nga xam ne mu ngi fi woon démba ak xalaat yi fi nekkoon démb ak li nga xam ne daf ko tënk ci manifesto bi gëm na ne am nañ ay pexe nga xam ne mun nañoo soppi melokaanu li nga xam ne nag moom moo di réew Gambia kon moom Jammeh mooma tey jii moom moo ñëw ci IEC yi ñoo ut si liggéey maanaam ñëw andi ay kayitam su ko defee ñu seet ko ndax mën naa jàlla warta mën a jàlla parce que nag lii beneen process la rek maanaam lii yëpp ci elections la bokka benn doxalin la rek boo xam ne benn pàcc la rek boo xam ne dafa bokk ci elections bi pàcc bu njëkk bi la pàcc bu njëkk bi nag mooy da ngay ñëw nga ñëw pour nga jéem a seet ndax di nga qualify loolu la ñu ooyee nominations boobu nag IEC dinañ def seen dogal ëllëg si biir xool seet ndax yow di nga jàll wala doo jàll su ko defee nag boo fa jàllee tamit mu mel ni dogal bi dafa des si askanu réew mi parce que boo jàllee nga qualify loolu beneen affaire la waaye nga dem ñu sànni la karta nga am ndam boobu tamit beneen affaire la te sànni karta boobu doomi Gambien ñoo ko amee moo waral registration bii passé Gambien si bëri dem nañ uti ci seen karta loo xam ne musta am ci réew Gambia daanaka 900,000 Gambiens ñoom ñoo dem register pour fas yéene sànni karta ren ci élection bi nga xam ne ñu ngi koy waajal kon mu mel ni élection réew mi Gambien si wane nañ ci seen fulla ak seen fayda waaw mu mel ni dafa amul waxtaan yi nga xam ne mu ngi doxoon si diggante candidate bi ak IEC officiel si ndax dafa mel ni dafa am jafe-jafe boo xam ne am nañ ko ndax saa yu jógee rek war a dem si kaw dafa am yoo xam ne daf ko war a soppi si kayit ndax nag ëpp doole bi nag li tax mu dee dem si kaw mooy bu dee dañoo xaw a jaawale tur yi wala tur yi dafa xaw a ñagas maanaam dafa am lu ñu la daan ooyee te li la daan ooyee ak li nga binda si kayit nekkut benn loolu dafay andi jaxasoo moo waral léegoo-léegi IEC dañuy bugg a leeral mu mel ni dañuy bugg a dem soppi li nga xam ne nag moom moo di tur yi te ëpp doole li nga xam ne dañ dee gis li waral joodi egg si kaw pour dem def loola ceeñ si yooya ëpp doole bi nag loolu moo ko dee faral di waral kon mu mel ni amaana ñaaw njottu nen ne loolu moo tax mu dem egga si kaw pour mu andi ay leeral ci la jëm ci wàllu ñagas yi nga xam ne mu ngi am ci wàllu process bi kon tey jii loolu moo amagum fii ay nitam gis ngeen gaa ñi ngi toog am na ñu toog ci biti mu am ñu toog si biir ñi si biti tamit ñu ngi toog waaye xam naa ne bu demee ba pare dafay waxtaan ak taskati xibaar yi léegi nag li fi dee xew mooy ne su paree rek nit ñami dañ koy yóoxu dañuy yuuxu mu mel ni loolu ndam la si ñoom ne seen candidate bi am nañ yaakaar ne war naa mën a jàll waaw ñi si biti ñoom ñoo nekk ni ñoo toog nii di xalaat ñi nga xam ne nag moom mooy seen candidate political party la boo xam ne nag Gambien si bari daanaka ràññewuñ ko woon maanaam xamuñ ko woon parce que seen yëngu dafa bari wutoon ci réew mi seen yëngu bari wutoon ci réew mi te seen candidate bi doon na koo xam ne Gambien si bari tamit xamuñ ko woon bu baax mu mel ni askan wala mbooloo bi nga xam ne ànd na ak moom fii dafa am ñu bari ñi nga xam ne nag loolu bett na leen parce que dañoo foogoon ne moom itamit dafay ñëw rek moom kenn comme ni ko ñeneen di defee rek ñëw rek jël seen kayit ànd xëy na ñaar ak ñetti nit rek ànd seen kayit andi ko rek joxe ko su ko defee dem seen yoon waaye moom defu loolu am na mbooloo boo xam ne ànd na ak moom parce que si biti fële sax si first checkpoint boo xam ne police yaa ngi ko mount si boori Gamworks am na ay nit ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo fa nekk jamono ji nag ñu ngi koy xaar kon mu mel ni ndekete moom Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh am na mbooloo bi nga xam ne moom la àndal waaw am na mbooloo boo xam ne ànd na ak moom te ngir mbooloo bi moom moo tax mu am yaakaar ne itaye si élection si dina ci am ndam mbadi mandinkol atel men ɓe télévision o jiiɓe kan sayenteng ɓen ɓe keeri wolon ko Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh atela ala kayitol fenan eɓala kayitol le jiiɓe kan sayenteng kato nomination o ɓe ngala daɓe élection ole kono ate mum ku folol to mi yalon ko wole kake janni élection o kake e kela kayitol natele yeta dow ko aka munta ko dow ko ñinin time wole ɓe keeri bare ke ni yela kayitol natina anin foy qualify da foy man qualify wututa wakatu AIC lebul anu AIC samalon ibo décision o kela oto sama ngalon Gambia dimul be hakkilo tulale AIC be listo men bonde la ala jale ate Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh atele be sirinje atele o dende ko dum gré dende ko ni atele o dum atele be sirinje atele be do ko lanu fanan Gambia Civil Aviation Authority iko mun la airport ba mum ba international airport do ko jamal kata je mel yalla ko atele ya nyatum kaya katu iko jannabe kala data jenati je akata no deputy director tede annon kabra data jena ya start je kabrin 2012 kodo men kata fo million tannani US dollars yole dundi je pour que airport nyum faling ka doku ko ke faye ay ke ay tar ay nyata ka nyame ay ka place dame yalla ko momo batana bantala satol te ni natana wala nako fatata dame wo mu airport to wo mu kulle te mi yalla ko ta fana yake ala banko yele wala kende sang abe menke kante wo mala constitutional right lete banko la loi bundal le aso pour ata fanan ala nyanto itande kato ka fitinan kalo o muyla mu Gambia dimbo le nyantolti ike nyinin kame na mansia ike nyinin kame na dabi je wolon ko fo mu Gambia dingolti ike nyinin kame na fanan dabi je ko fo na tra 40 le fo senior school bank o fanan mu kulti mu yalla ko Gambia no ya ko kacha le jang mo jama ya fole ko ike loi ni man nyanna ka dannon ron ka foko imare nyanta ka school banne grade 12 certificate bare ima foje natara english nyanta ka pass fo nyanta ka credit le onata marché nyanta ka pass fo ka credit fo du nyanta ka 4 credit so wala 5 credit iko don lo ay men fo wolon ko nyanta ke mode mi yalla ko nyanta senior school certificate produce la le fo nata i pass tale imam pass lo abunda mo fo lo am fo do wolon ko keto nyi nyanta ka fitandile woto ibata fana nyi kala ko keto la le ara karang danta dame wolon ala senior school certificate o kola iba nyinin ka ala assets la adantana yamen iba ta nyinin kala fana nale iba nyinin kala fa fana tarafan aka tax fana jole Gambia banko namu fa ko jole iba nyinin kala ko kayto fana nale oto nyil mi kullete mi yala ko bi iba nyinin kala la pour ay nyin kaytol be natna ala campaign programme fana fokata code of ethics of campaign nyil be mi kullete mi yala ko bi iba nyinin kala pour ay nyin kaytol samana jang anala party la ala symbol anim party nyina kola anim party nyina photo ata fon la photo iba nyina ka wala be woto mbariwul jole seleta nun santo kata ku dam dantan falinje barakam to ko sayenten amurtanan ngamuru je do ngaji be nata ka challe be me yana ko wala be tamakan NUP la candidate ning IC tema inshallah mumbe kerinje kato hani sang ala kato le bajibe kanne kato adabi je fanan wolon ko region wori jon be Gambia banko kanjang mo keme fula wala nyanta ke nominate woto mo wuli lulu wala nyanta ke nominate janni kalo president yala ngamuru je mbadengol o kolansi nana ko teke hanga understand ko sainten ka chamanta kerinje hani sa be sirine be kayto le jibe kan katu mul be siring IC mo ali mo man jay dala wolon ala commissionality wolle ka kayto jibe fanata akeku nda faman keku woto mbadengol sitaje IC kata kamanda ko ali mo man jakana risitol dial.
It's my honor and pleasure to raise all documents you brought as requested by us, and this is the acknowledgement receipt. They will be subjected to public scrutiny tomorrow, and thereafter I'll let you know your situation. Good luck and God bless.
Welcome back right here in our studios in Churchillstown. This is Star TV, day 7 of the nominations campaign, which began last weekend on the 30th of October, and today is 5th October. Today we've seen, let's go there. There is interview right now with Abdullahi.
Is to address the state of affairs in the country as well as to enhance the lives and livelihoods of Gambians.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very important question. It's going to be a spectrum of priorities, really. But I would first start with security, because we all know about the security situation in this country, and we are aware of the linkages to security itself. If you look at the drivers of our economy, for example, right now we are in the tourist season, and we know that tourism cannot thrive without good security. We know, of course, the fact that over the past 2 years we had this pandemic, which is COVID, and it seriously disabled that industry. But we know that we are coming out of that at the moment. But we are also aware that it's a very volatile industry, and that if you don't fix the security situation, it could also lead to another damage to that industry. And tourism is a major driver of our economy. We also know that our health system requires a lot of fixing. There should be immediate fixes as well. Of course, the other time I read something on the social media about a senior consultant at the hospital. He tweeted that before patients could visit the hospital, they needed to take an X-ray outside before coming to the hospital. And we think that's really an appalling situation, and that's something that we need to fix. And of course, generally the delivery of healthcare in the country, throughout the country, is something that we need to fix. Of course, we also need to rebalance our economy, because that's where we need to get the necessary and required funding to support all our programs. So in a sense, it's quite a range of priorities that we have across all sectors, across all industries.
So, do you have any designated policy for people with disabilities? If so, what are they?
Well, our government is going to be a very inclusive government. It's going to take care of people, regardless of their status and station in life and their physical ability as well. So yes, we do have a very strong emphasis on providing for disability. In fact, we don't really consider them as disabled. They may be persons of reduced mobility, but they have some ability, or they are called differently able people.
So, Mr. Implement the TRRC recommendations.
Well, of course, we will implement TRRC in all its facets in terms of establishing the truth as a matter of public record, but also we also want to see how reparation is done as well in terms of people who are affected, not necessarily imprisoning people, but we know that people have been affected and they need to be supported through life for the rest of their lives. We'll provide for that as well, and we support that. We also believe in reconciliation. That's key, because nobody wants to preside over a divided country. We are all one people. We need to find a way of keeping certain things in the... Hence the name of our party, the National Unity Party.
So are you saying no justice? Because you're saying not necessarily jailing people. Would you
Of course there's justice, because you need to bring closer to some of the issues of injustice in the country. But I'm saying that the emphasis should be more on reconciliation and also reparation, not in the sense of financial rewards, but also supporting people through life. Because certain disabilities or certain losses in life will require some support right through the rest of their lives.
You talk about addressing the security system, but you didn't tell us how the mechanism that you have to address the security system. So could you tell us how are you going to address the security system?
Well, we know that post-2016, there was a clear pronouncement on security sector reform. We embarked on it as a nation. A lot of resources were deployed. but we have not seen it being implemented in any way. Our government will take priority in terms of trying to review that particular review itself and sort of implement all the relevant recommendations, and of course to really reorganize our security outfit, resource them fully to make them useful for purpose.
Are you open to join coalition with any political party or independent aspirant?
Well, I've always said that coalitions are something to be considered, but we are going to coalesce on the basis of principle, and that if we come into any coalition, we want to ensure that the interests of the nation, of the people, the citizenry of this country, is actually sacrosanct.
Before you go, you talk about the coalition here, the interest of the nation, but most people say it's difficult to find out what is national interest. For you, what is national interest?
National interest is to get a government that will provide for everybody across all sectors, across all levels of society. Someone talked about disability as well. We're also going to talk about the vulnerable groups in society, women and youth. But also we believe that, as a national unity government, we should be able to bring the entire country together. We know that the country is seriously divided over political lines, and that we need to be able to bring them together, in order to push the country forward.
We had the IEC making some clarification. Yeah. You please tell us the official name.
My name is Abdullah Ibrahim Jame. The Ibrahim is the middle name. So that is what's reflected in all my documents.
Welcome back right here on Star TV. If you're just watching us, today is the day 7 of the nomination. We've just seen the NUP presidential candidate Abdullah Ibrahim Jame. Another interview. Let's go to the IEC now.
Because we believe that corruption kills a country. It kills the people and kills the entire civilization. Now we're talking about a lot of things. How do we grow economy? We know we cannot just take recourse to our internal resources alone. We also need to get FDIs, foreign direct investment, and they need some secure environment to invest. And of course, we know that we need to also create an environment called ease of doing business, and an environment where you have corruption that's non-existent. So it's a priority for us, and we're going to set up institutions and the laws to ensure that we get rid of corruption. I understand time is up.
Abdullah Ibrahim Jame there talking to the press shortly after submitting his credentials to the IEC chairman Aliu Momar Njai. Welcome back to the studios right here along Churchillstown or Serekunda Highway. Gentlemen, we've heard what the NUP presidential candidate just told the media when he had an interview with them. He talks about security, he talks about tourism, he talks about health and many other issues. Just as it, I think security and all the issues he mentioned is on the lips of every presidential candidate as far as Gambia is concerned. Lipsy. Alaji?
Yeah, let me come there before Lipsy comes in there, please. Yes, I think Abdullah Ibrahim Jame, with all due respect, he's a humble guy, very comfortable when addressing the media. So I can tell you simply that he have a stuff to be part of this election because his composure and then how he addressed the media. Are you not convinced? Yeah, I'm convinced, but this is what I expect. This is what we expect from people who are vying for this position. Unlike the others who came in, they just jump to conclusion. They went astray. A good example of somebody trying to fence between the Gambia and Senegal. So all those are things that we don't need as of now. I think one more important thing is we have to cross-check this.
Alaji, I think we're trying to get Mariama Dem now on the line. Mariama Dem is right there at the IEC complex to give us what is going on as far as the nomination is concerned of Abdullah Ibrahima Jammeh. Very soon we will be linking up with Mariama Dem to tell us the crowd, to tell us the atmosphere, the ambience. Is there any ambience as far as NUP is concerned? Right now, badingol alba min jibe kan wala NUP la presidential candidate wala borata ni IEC in temena ala kaitol be samba jele ando anin ke batala fanan diamutal sa nyin temena fala ba findikan anala kanunte jamal fanan abije nga flagol jele nga Gambia flagol jele red white blue white green jele anin flag kotangol anin ila parti fangol la coloro bijele ando mbakara kan nim Mariama Dem fanan sina kacha mimba dending ila jela atmosphere mi nyimba nyaadi le je ando fanan kabring nying minketa fanan NUP la presidential candidate minketa Abdullah Ibrahima Jammeh adiamuta ay kumol fanan min fo min yalon ko aba kumala bakele pour gambenol fanan salon because aba kumala bakele pour ntol min yalon ko tolle bita carte fayla alaji pour ngalong man carte di la jumala munati na fanan ba di la because banko mo fenet mi yalon ko kumata bakele amba kamara klopola kamara suola kamara association la anin kamara banko la fenno mi yalon ko mankene because banko mo fenet mi yalon ko alaji ngamira kuma batale momo yalon ko ye ngani yo soto you know nye ngani yo soto ka banko mara nyanda kala multi mi yalon ko dal ñi sita wo pala soto mol ba jele nyalale bari gambe jang na culture minte wala na ado minti ñi lafta place la comme donc lala ka fu ñami don comme donc lala ka fu ñami rek politiko kuma ba ñimba place ñi ne kam kuma ta kuma du buka min fo ñoy bari ak mo ko ñi sita je rek nga ñinale we now have Mariama Dem on the line. Mariama Dem, good morning. Yes, it's still morning. What can you tell us what is happening right now at the IEC as far as the nomination of NUP is concerned?
Thank you so much, Bell.
Hello, Mariama.
Good morning. And, we are still at the IEC. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, carry on, please, ma'am. Carry on.
Okay, so the presidential candidate for the NUP, that's the National Unity Party in the Gambia, has already, tendered his nomination papers to the IEC to scrutinize it. The decisions will be taken tomorrow, inshallah. So he has already tendered the papers, and after tendering his nomination papers to the IEC chairman, he also spoke to the press. And the things that he said he will prioritize when elected come December 4th will be, he will strengthen the economic, and then when they strengthen the economy, that's the funds they will use in strengthening other sectors such as the health sector, education, and also to empower youth. And also he mentioned that, his government will be an inclusive one, meaning both men and women, and even the differently able people will also work in his government.
Mariama, what can you tell us as far as his fan base is concerned? Do he come out with a huge crowd?
Yeah, to be honest, for me, I was even surprised that, with the crowd he came in with, because, NUP is a party that is not that popular in the Gambia, and the party, presidential candidate too is not that popular. He has been in the, government working on the civil servant for 35 years, but that doesn't make him, to be known by many Gambians. So the fan base, to be honest, it's quite impressive, regarding that he is not that popular in the Gambia.
How is the security tight there?
I mean, the security is, it's fine. They have just, the way it has been since the nomination started, but for when UDP and Barrow came, it was a different thing because they brought, more, crowd with them than other parties or, independent candidates. So the security is fine. They are doing a great job, to be honest.
I want to take you a bit back. During Papa Fall's nomination, what could you tell us during Papa Fall if you were there?
Yeah, Papa Fall tendered his nomination papers to the IEC, but when he spoke to the press, when they asked him whether he will denounce one of his, because he has dual citizenship, he is an American citizenship as well as a Gambian citizen. So, when they asked him whether he will denounce one, he was like, when I'm elected in office, that's the time I will, denounce one of the, citizenship. So, but I think he's not being serious. I think he knows that he's not going to win the election, to be honest. And most of these independent candidates, to me, they are not really serious with this nomination. They haven't taken the nomination seriously. I don't know why, but they haven't taken it seriously. Because if they don't leave one or two documents out, they will be, they will be having dual citizenship. Or if you ask them how will they run the country, they find it very difficult to express themselves. What mechanism will they use in order to strengthen all these sectors they said they will, strengthen in the country?
There was a report we received this morning that Papa Fall, the independent candidate, drove himself to the IEC. Was that the case?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the case. He's the only, candidate who came to the IEC, who drove himself to the IEC.
How was his fan base? Does he has a fan base, Papa Fall?
No. He came with 3 cars, including the one he drove. So, yeah, he was not with much people.
Mariama, could you translate this in Wolof just quickly, please, what you've been seeing so far at the IEC today?
I guess I will engage Omar to elaborate more on that in the local language. And we also have Binta Koli here. It will be good if Binta Koli can, translate that in the Mandinka language as well for our Mandinka viewers and listeners.
Kibarol kumuto wo sabu kamba. Binta mbe kontona?
All right, just a minute.
All right, thank you very much, Mariama Dem. Quickly, we will be having Binta Koli also to be translating this in the Mandinka language, what has been transpiring at the IEC this morning from Papa Fall to NUP Abdullahi Ibrahima Jammeh. It says it is only Fullers who used to have 2 names. Lipsy, is this guy Fuller?
I want to believe, maybe if that's what it means. I want to say something here. I think it was yesterday. I did say something. Some of these politicians are really not serious. In fact, they're not taking this nomination seriously.
Really?
Yes, of course, yes.
With all the money they pay?
No.
All right, we have Binta. Binta mbe kondona. All right. Badingol ba kataka na nimpinda kole fanang ye nyomo nyin temena fanambe IEC la korda balto mimbe atenyi battle harden highway nga Mariama demle moy nung ay kumodol fo mole mimba den NUP la presidential candidate la anem kata Papa Fall independent bar ma kataka na fanang ka binta kole fanam moy alka moy talan sabaki waroto radio to nyin temena fanam bi jele kanaka be jabaka se woto mole nim manika kangola nyaaro do mande obakela. Let me come back to Lipsy. Lipsy, you were saying something.
Yes, I am saying something. The reason why I said they've not been serious is, there are requirements for you to, be part of this process. And you cannot be coming to the IEC even without having some of these papers. We've seen candidates who comes to the IEC without having their 5,000 nomination voter registration cards, filling the forms, without having their tax clearance.
Let's go to IEC. I guess we have Binta on the line. Hello, Binta. Binta Koli.
Hello.
Binta mbeni mbara baka nyinte mena ebate ni IEC le esafono mole monekreje nyin somanda ka Papa Fall nomination watola aning Abdullahi Ibrahima Jammeh Talla. The network is Baji at the IEC today. No wonder. I teased the Jolas.
You're teasing my very good friend. Anyway, like I was saying, because you cannot come to the IEC, to submit your nomination papers without some of them came without their tax clearance. Some of them came without their party-sponsored letter. Some of them came with without so many documents that are required.
Some came without a voter's card.
some came without a voter's card.
Sorry, an individual came without
an individual, yes. In fact, it was my party who came without a voter's card.
The former interior minister.
If you don't have a voter's card, you cannot vote yourself. Talk less of people voting you into office. These are things that you looked at and asked yourself whether they are really serious with this process.
But again, what came to my mind before all this process will start, what will the IEC tell all these presidential candidates prior, before they come up with their nominations? What I mean here is the requirement. What are the requirements? Does the IEC, really spelled out everything as far
everything is spelled out. Everything is spelled out, and it would not be a reason for you to say, "I do not know. I needed this document." Once you want to vie for that position, obviously you need to know all the requirements, and it was spelled out clearly.
Thank you. Let's go to IEC now, where we have Binta Akoli. Binta, ikamoy bang?
Ha balong ke bon.
Yo, Binta, nyente mena sa fono mole bi jumola November karoteli lulu bilam lulu bang oti atenying nomination la fanala nga kalam ko Papa Fall independent wala folo tata mimbulata noma wala mu NUP la presidential candidate Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh nga start Papa Fall tala bang Papa Fall ta yemune mune jeje
Bailum be tentula bake be jayila mbala moy lal be tentula ba be jayila anini min fo ba studio kono sainte min fo lonata janko ya fela kuma konto nyame walen atenyi Papa Fall ti mimu independent candidate Papa Fall anata janne andu nga kala mota fanan akanun tedol nata bulandumal bar nanata politiko fon la karola amanke ibadan na kanun tel min bulate no wala mumin fanan be koma min kumata walen ite mari ni e sindi wo place to Gambia dingol ibe na fala minela anin boy mu yirwa ko wala na fila Gambia banko kan Papa Fall manke kibarti wala ñu manke ñinin karti kibartara ñinata ka ñinin kamina bari ya ñinin karti Papa Fall Gambia dingol fons kambenta ate ñin December karotil nani yela karti ke sota ya diala mu na fam feŋol ate ñin mu Papa Fall ti abol na fila Gambia dingol le amanna ke moti mi yede bari ay jabirol fanan dile Papa Fall fanan diamuta ku jamal nanata yirwa kuwala ñim banko ba ñame min momo rondi findita politician la karola e ka diamu kula min badendi ate ñin security la min tankodi Papa Fall diamu la kayitani ko abakata kuwal kelal ferol fanan basiti la le andu sartol fanan balandila ibaje ni Gambia banko iba tankanola nyame hani kabi mimu karangola bundata ala diamo kono yafa ko Gambia fumola karangola bunda aba nyame ama anyafa Papa Fall nata diamo hani kabi ko Gambia dingol nala le karti kesu fongota aliadina al salon ko karangola bunda mba falina bari mbamuru na koma kuwal kala nyame mba kuwal fanan landila wala nyama nying anin ku ko ten jamal ate mimu Papa Fall ti aba loring independent candidate to yala ñinen kuma kango dolti ay min fo pour Gambia dingol si la carte ke so fangota ya diala December karotili nani
wo sabu kamba abaraka bake Binta ñimbota Papa Fall la karola ngata NUP Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh akeda motim yalan ko nga moy non commando Omar Tunkara fo ay ko ay doko ka tanin Gambia Civil Aviation Authority le afanan nala mol natale kala kaytol di atenin Aliou Momar Njaila isa fono mol fanay ko kabirin ñing Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh fanan nata ay munne fanan ñaata fanan ay kolya kodo soro kaytol la karola iso fanan fono badi ngole ba
Bailo abaraka bake ate fana natale pour kala kayto na fe mimu National Unity Party la nyato ngoti pour IEC isa nominate no nyame asa president ya siraw nyini aning journalist la kacha ko mimu kibar bundati ani ya kacha mi soro aya itandi wala jenda ka futa wol fangoma bayri ni nata IEC itol kabula kayto no ma bayri fengo ferendi yanko abadendin tubab karangola karola kayto mu fenete min ku mata je aya la kayto bale ngaje IEC fana do kulal idiamu tay nanata kula min badendi nga tola ate to mu minti wala Abdoulaye Ibrahim Jammeh wala Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh ato fana moldi bari na tata IEC ay kayto do fana sambaje aka munta filo do fana natkaje atina IEC fana nata fay ko to mi yalo ne ko ay waldi la wala atani Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh ti andu wol nyanta ka fende min yalo ne ko asalo bari wokola kayti ko amanna ada soto je bari IEC fana yayi tan dalal ko kayti nga nyinin kete bulu temi mo Abdoulaye Ibrahima Jammeh ti yakata ko kele ya futande ate IEC oto Musa fuko nanata NUP la pati nyaton kol kayto min lata pura e fintinde IEC nyati ngola ay wol fanam fintinde jelem o kola ni kibar talal nata kacha Gambia banko ni la carte ke so fon diala aba mu muna fan ko la fana nafir wala Gambia dingol samira ataba kala mu nyato nga sifalti adiyamu ta kende ke ako security mi mu tankoti ako yakala mutal ko falindir jama nyanta ka ke tanko fon la bundato akayati na president Adam Barrow anala mon sekunda kabri nata ya fanyi falindiro min fanan kake ako ya foko nyimi mo atenyu security sector reform ti mo jama ka fu min faniko SSR ako ferol city tale ko di jamal fana dunta ji mo jamal en do ko sotoji ako bari yajele ko nyi nata ke fenti mi yanko hani kabi nyaato tama sotoji ako to ati abakela moti mi bakata ko kala kende ke isaje nyaato ta sa soto o bundato hani kabi jimintella ko kumata bake ati manke moti mi yewoltu koma dingol na la carte ke so fonta aliadin tella nyimi mu jimin telti e bani Gambia banko kan tanyi na lela bumeke bayri bakata ko kala nge sembentuya kafi mu jimin telti ho mayitani ko imman hadama dingol fanansi o sabu kama bayri nata ke multi mini boko hadama dingol be nyanta ke sembentuya le nga fengol dila mi yalo ne abi mako la baki ifongol la yirwalto ikunna kilenal
Binta nyinada tankola fanna ba nyaadi je compared to kabiring UDP ni GDC ni NPP nata bil tankola fanna ba nyaadi je
baylo bi alhamdulillah jantanko mu feneti mi yalo ne ko abeba nyamale bari yanko isa nyusaba na taka dung atenyi ay la bundato wala konoto ni la patiol nata wo jama ka to kumando fonke wolto bari modol fanan kala fika forcé to dunje bari wo kola mam fenje bari min batanko la bundato nyim bundato fanan kalole ya fe ko kayto min balbulu fanali wol to fanan fo asadu wo kola ni wol tol kumandita minito ta koma ibe ka sirango tale yela nyim pati candidate so fanan batu ate banta bani NUP bari pati kutole nga kala mutako 2020 len pati nyim fo registrata atenyi Gambia banko kan bari atemi mu nying Ibrahim ti mo Jamal fanam fintita noma bali kurolo me fon be bula orange and white yela kanunte ya fon yitandi Ibrahim la kende ke kabri futata jam
Binta mbe tentula mbe jeyla mba yila kam fanan DP wala be kala parti labawde min binala bi bila famo lul labawda dañi nomination la fanala bari lul labaw fon angale ka me ko dide nga kala do fo makela perhaps sama wala senending atembo mi yalon ko IEC la chairman la sirantiyo Aliou Momar Njie abina fula mole ko jumale qualified muna wakile la kuma la bahoti atin DP la fanala because nga kalam ta ko tolle kana nyaado domande
ha baylo itol min fanamu atenyi UPT kati kutole wala atenyi DPT pati kutole mbasiri jang be batukan ini la pati nyaton ko ni nata ni fengo ferending fo kata ko fana bakela Gambia dingol yalon pati kuto e fana ko balari nyame ani la pati nyaton ko fane minke jandin kata sa kuma folo sibiti lungola karola bari so mar bakela non tinin ala sonta ai si ba finti